Something scary about the hobby hit me like a lead brick in the head today. I started thinking about the prediction markets, and then I thought about the auctions that take place in the hobby. And a quote I remember a while ago, this is like 10 years ago when FanDuel was taking off and DraftKings were taking off. I remember in Massachusetts, some random state rep was like, well, we have to worry about the integrity of the game. And I thought to myself, like, who are you to worry about if, LeBron James is going to get 30 points in a night? Like, give me a break. But then, I thought about that today and I'm like, who at Polymarket or any of these places are actually making sure that the bids are on the up and up? Because I'm actually worried about something. I don't know if anybody's actually done this because it's almost a competition between the liquidity of something like Polymarket and the bidding depth of an auction. Like, auctions by design are based on prisoner's dilemma. You put two separate people in a room and you grill them, and usually you get the better outcome as the interrogator. An auction is like doing that to 60 people, assuming those people don't talk to themselves. But that's the rub here. So let's say you've got like I don't know, $1 million card at auction, and it's got a little bit of social media traction, and it's good enough to make Polymarket. And the Polymarket bet just says, hey, if this hits 2 million, we pay out I don't know, 2 to 1 or something like that. And then you have the ability to bid that card up at some places like Heritage. Heritage allows shill bidding. It's in their terms of service, and they reside in Texas. I've done tons of research on this. So FYI, Heritage allows shill bidding. So you could, in theory, bid your card up to $2 million and then also clean up on the predictions markets. That's pretty wild. And I'm actually, this whole hobby is the Wild West right now. And I'm actually concerned about, I think at some point there will have to be some sort of wall between the Polymarket participants and their ability to bid on an auction, because that's the only way you fix this. Because if somebody holds a large yes position, they can start bidding aggressively, and it becomes financially rational at a certain point. Obviously, if you're going to make 500 grand on Polymarket and you're going to bid 1 million, that's not financially rational. But I was watching the odds. This didn't happen because Golden doesn't allow shill bidding, but I was watching the odds on the Pokemon card, the Silver 16.5, and you could have made money if you had known what the bid was going to be. But again, it's supposed to be a blind auction and you don't know all the participants. So it's a really interesting gray area that we're going to have to navigate. It reminds me of like the Constitution, right? Like they wrote the Constitution 300 years ago, and there are rules in there, rules of the game, right? But they also left some flexibility in those rules in case the game changes over 300 to 500 to, I don't know, maybe America will be here in 1,000 years. I don't know. By the time you hit year 1,000, a lot has changed. One of them is abortion, right? And like you have the ability to change the Constitution or change the rules of the game. I think of the hobby like this. It's been around since, I don't know, Wagner or the cards before Wagner. And the game keeps changing, and I feel like we need to understand that like this digital world and digital betting is going to change this game even further, and we have to have a way to alter the rules of the game. Hopefully we can self-alter. We get the auction houses together and we agree like, hey, if there's a bet on Polymarket that makes this auction profitable to be bid up, that we don't allow it. And somebody does that in real time. I talked before, I know all the heads of all the auction houses, and my plan is to try to bring them together at the national. And I want to talk about a ton of things. I want to talk about almost like articles of engagement. Like if somebody's caught shill bidding, they're banned forever at every auction house, all the top 10 or top 12s, things like that. I want to get like a meeting of the 5 families. And I think this is a part of that meeting where, hey guys, digital world, these prediction markets can really screw with auctions, especially at the high end, mostly at the high end, right? You probably have to be a celebrity or something of multi-millions of dollars to enter that. We should be aware. And what's the process here? What's the process if there's a bet on Logan Paul that's more profitable than the ability to bid it up? I don't actually know. You guys help me with the answer. Like, how would you handle this? Like, if you were in that meeting with me that I hope to set up, what are 3 things you'd like to change, or how could we change things? We have to incentivize them to do it as well. you know, they're not going to want to do this if it costs them money. Both companies all around. I mean, the harsh way to do it was you go to the execs at Polymarket and whatever, and you just say, hey, no bidding on an auction that is more profitable than the ability to bid on that auction, I guess. I know it sounds complex, but this is going to become a real world problem. The other thing is emotion. Like the hobby's very emotional. And I just wonder if these prediction markets are going to increase the fluctuations, increase the FOMO, increase the, I don't know, like the emotional psychology of bidding on these things. And I do worry about that and what the implications are because we already have a very volatile hobby. Except for vintage, like these cards are just PSA can't keep up with it. They won't invest because they say we have too much FOMO, and it's like, I mean, I don't buy that, but I think the ability to amplify these, like you're going to have these oscillations right now in values, and I think Polymarket's actually going to make the oscillations wider because now you can bet at the extreme high and extreme low, and you're going to drag them, and that volatility is, I mean, like in the stock market, volatility is a day trader's best friend. They hate boring markets. And so I guess you'd have to take a page out of that for the hobby. If you're a swing trader or a day trader for cards, this is great. Although there's no mechanism to really short things here, which makes it tricky, or options betting, but you can make money in fluctuations, the ride up, the ride down, and so on. I wonder what the legal line is too. I'd love to get some kind of attorney on here, gambling attorney. I had one on my old channel. I may get him back. His name is Matt. He's great. He deals with a lot of the gambling stuff in the world, casinos and things like that. And he was pretty fascinating to talk to. I wonder what his take on this would be. I might get him back. Just stay tuned on that one. Again, I'm going to close this down. Let me know how you think you would fix this or address this. And if any of you have any points for this meeting that could happen, I am working on it behind the scenes. Anything to bring up there, because I think it's like the Declaration of Independence. Like again, for the hobby, it's like a declaration of on the up and up. I need to come up with a cooler name for it. Meeting of the 5 families or 10 families or whatever. And lastly, 2 new members of the channel, Picking and Punching Cards and Billy Lease 9837. I want to thank you guys for joining. You can email me at theboston.cardhunter@gmail.com. I can answer your questions on here, give some advice, whatever. I'll also always reply to comments on videos of members of the channel. So thanks, everyone.